It is because of that upstairs. I don't know how to explain for it because it was greed. Out of greed, yes.
Yes, I know Efe. Efe is my brother agent and his best friend. We are looking for our brother, and Efe also joined us to search for our brother. But we don't know that this Efe is the one that killed my brother.
Why you buried the head? Why you buried the head?
Let first me bury the head.
How much I give you?
Eh?
How much I give you?
You don't give me money, give me for my ass. Yeah.
No. How much I give you?
That's when I give.
This is why you should be very careful about the people you call friends. This story will teach you why you should never trust anyone too much, especially when envy and jealousy begin to creep in. On the 8th of September 2024, Paulinus Okon was invited to a birthday party by his very good friend Efe, popularly known as Efe Money in Otokutu, Delta State, Nigeria. Paulinus Okon was a businessman in his prime, living in Delta State, Nigeria. Known for his hard work and ambition, he was the type of person people admired. He and Efe had been good friends for years, and as we know, trust is something that comes easily with a friendship that has lasted this long. So when Efe came up with the idea that Paulinus should go with him to the birthday party, nothing seemed amiss before he left for the party. However, Paulinus told his brother that his friend Efe had told him that he had a dream where he, Paulinus, was being captured and held for ransom. Paulinus and his brother didn't make any big deal out of this dream and didn't think it mattered because they just saw it as a mere dream. Little did he know that this dream was the forerunner of the darker things that would come. The two friends left for the party in Paulinus' car. But several hours later, when it had become very late and Paulinus was not yet home, his family became very worried. They tried to reach him on the phone without success. The next morning, Efe showed up at Paulinus' boutique asking for money. The family was surprised. Paulinus had last been seen with Efe the previous night, and the two had left together for a party. If Efe was there, Paulinus should have returned. They confronted him, telling him that Paulinus had left home with him the previous evening to a party that he, Efe, had invited him to. So where was his friend that he was with yesterday? Shockingly, Efe denied ever going anywhere with Paulinus the previous day and left the shop. The search for Paulinus continued. More calls were made to his line without any success. Several days later, Efe visited Paulinus' brother and asked him to give him the sum of 500,000 so he could use it to pay a native doctor who would use spiritual means to find Paulinus. Paulinus' brother, concerned and bothered about his brother's whereabouts, gave Efe the money he demanded, after which Efe left the shop. Several days later, Efe was back again. This time, he came with Paulinus' SIM card. He showed it to Paulinus' family and informed them that Paulinus had been taken hostage and held for ransom. He said he had been contacted by the people that captured Paulinus and that they had given him this SIM card to return to the family and that they were demanding a certain sum of money before they would release him. The concerned family members rallied together and were able to raise 11 million naira, which they handed to Efe. However, after the payment had been made, the family did not receive any update from Efe, neither was their son returned to them. A few days later, Efe was at the house again. He told the family that the men who were holding Paulinus had demanded an additional 7 million naira. Again, they rallied round and raised the money. The family was hopeful that this time Paulinus would be released and allowed to come home, but much to their dismay, nothing of such happened. Rather, Efe was at the house again. This time, however, he wasn't there to discuss anything about Paulinus' capture. He told them that his car engine was broken and needed to be fixed, that he had been running around playing the middleman between them and the men holding Paulinus, and that this had resulted in his car engine developing a fault, and that he needed the sum of 3.3 million naira to get it fixed. Once again, the family raised the money, which they handed to FA. At this point, it might have seemed that this was the end of the extortion, but no. FA called Paulinus' brother some days later and told him that he, FA, had also been captured by the same men that were holding Paulinus, and that they were demanding the sum of 1.5 million naira for his safe release. The unsuspecting brother raised the money, hoping that FA and his brother would finally be released and allowed to come home, but it was so wrong. After seeing that nothing was coming out of the back and forth with FA and the men that were supposedly holding him and Paulinus hostage, Paulinus' brother knew it was time to seek help. He reached out to a human rights activist, I think that was Israel Joe, who took him to the Ughelli police station, where they filed a missing persons report. Shortly after this was done, Paulinus' car was recovered from a roadside and was taken to Ughelli police station. FA, who was believed to be the last person to see Paulinus alive, became the prime suspect and was promptly arrested. He was taken in by the police for questioning but denied having anything to do with Paulinus' disappearance. Shockingly, the police did nothing further to unravel the mystery of how Paulinus suddenly disappeared. A few days later, Israel received a call from FA while he was still in police custody, and according to Israel, FA had threatened to deal with him for revealing his identity online. At this time, Paulinus had been missing for close to months. Israel, along with Paulinus' family, then filed a petition that the case should be transferred from the Ughelli Area Command to the Delta State Command Headquarters, or Zone 5 of the Nigeria Police Force. The request was granted and FA was transferred to the State Criminal Investigative Department, State Headquarters at Asaba, Delta State. The police then swung fully into action to uncover the mystery behind the sudden disappearance of Paulinus Okon. Before long, a suspect was arrested, a 48-year-old man by the name Okemute Gaga, who would later give the shocking details of what had happened to Paulinus. Paulinus was a businessman. He owned the largest boutique in Otokutu. He hailed from Cross River State but had moved to Delta State in search of a better life. Through sheer hard work and diligence, he had made some money, which he continuously invested until he became quite successful. Now FA was his best friend. He trusted him so much that he was a big part of his investment decisions. FA was in charge of some of his investment and was also in charge of some of his vital documents. Paulinus was said to have also helped his friend FA a lot with some sources, claiming that he had even bought him a car. The two were good friends and everything was going on perfectly between them until the story took a dark turn when Paulinus entrusted FA with a sum of 13 million naira. This money wasn't a gift, it was meant for a property purchase which FA had advertised to Paulinus as a good site where he could set up another boutique. Paulinus bought into the idea. After all, this was not the first time FA was presenting such an opportunity to him, and nothing had even gone wrong, but FA had other plans. Paulinus had made the payment 3 times instrumentally. FA misappropriated the funds, using it for his own personal investment. He was said to have bought 2 lands and also used some part of the money to build a duplex for himself. When Paulinus began to pressure his friends to show him the property, FA became confused. He had no idea how to tell his friend what he had done. Paulinus confronted his so-called friend again and again, and with the mounting pressure on FA, a darkness awoke in him, and what followed was a chilling sequence of events that no one could have predicted. Realizing that his deception would soon be exposed, FA made a horrifying decision to silence Paulinus forever. He orchestrated his murder. He contacted someone, promised to pay him the sum of 450,000 naira to kill Paulinus, but the person declined. FA then approached Okemute Gaga and paid him the sum of 680,000 naira to kill his friend. Gaga then recruited his own friend Sunday Ikpeba to assist him with the job. After this, Efe reached out to the chief priest of Otokutu, Lawrence Joseph. After confirming that he had not been with a woman, he told them that he wanted to bring coconut for him, which was a code name they used for a human head. After all, it had been planned. On that fateful day, Paulinus was lured to a remote location under the guise of attending a birthday party where Efe and his accomplices carried out their gruesome plan. Efe had lured Paulinus to a river in Otokutu where the three men were waiting. When they arrived, Paulinus was captured and tied to a stick. The three men not only killed Paulinus, they also beheaded him on Efe's instruction, though he had left the scene before the deed was done, probably to save himself if anything went wrong. After all, he wasn't there when the actual deed was done. Paulinus' body was disposed of in the river, while his head was buried at a shrine in Otokutu by the chief priest. It was really obvious that this move has ritualistic connotations. Efe drove Paulinus' car to a junction where he abandoned it to make it look like Paulinus had been kidnapped and that the dream he told him about earlier had come to pass. After some days, Efe heard that Paulinus' body had floated in the river. He notified his accomplices, who went to the river, took the body, removed the intestines, tied concrete block to the body, and then threw it back once more into the river. The police arrested the chief priest along with Sunday Ikpeba and even the first man that rejected the job. They were all taken in for questioning, after which the chief priest was made to take them to the shrine where he buried Paulinus' head. He was made to unearth the head, leaving the entire community which witnessed the whole process shocked. The murder of Paulinus sent shockwaves across the region. It was a grim reminder of the lengths people would go for greed. Efe's betrayal not only cost a life but also destroyed the trust that had taken years to build. A total of 4 suspects were arrested and are now in police custody awaiting trial as at 2024 September. The Delta State Police Commissioner confirmed that the investigation is ongoing and justice will follow. The murder of Paulinus shook the entire region. A man who helped his friend, trusted him, and even put business in his hands was betrayed in the worst way possible. This case is a painful reminder to be careful who you trust. What are your thoughts on this heartbreaking case? Tell us in the comment and don't forget to subscribe for more true crime stories. Have a wonderful time and stay vigilant.